Hey everyone, just wanted to do a video showcasing my top 3 tips to becoming a better attacker in Breakthrough. These are things that I do almost every single match myself, and I think if you implement them into your matches, you'll find yourself having more kills and being a more efficient attacker. So with that, if you like my content, please subscribe, help me get to 1,000. I'd greatly appreciate it, and let's get into it. Number one is going to be avoiding the meat grinder. When I'm talking about avoiding the meat grinder is kind of avoiding these little choke points where there's going to be a lot of defenders. And it's going to be very tough to break through on your own. As you can see, there's six or seven enemies right here just looking down this choke point. So what I like to do is I like to go through the path of least resistance. So as you can see here, there's only one person down this lane looking, waiting for enemies to come down. So at the beginning of the match, I come down here. I usually throw a respawn beacon, in this area somewhere, and then you have a path here to be, and then if there's no one here, you can go all the way around here and attack the backside of A and clear out some of these defenders. So another example here on Blackwell Fields, as you can see, I mean, look at all of my teammates right here. This is the meat grinder right here. Everyone's packed in right here trying to get, a couple kills here and there, and just trying to advance slowly. As you can see, there's, the sniper's on the hill, and then I have two of my teammates right here, looking down this sight line, and then no one's really trying to go down here. I mean, this lane right here is pretty good if you could get there early before these people set up here and get a respawn beacon somewhere over here, and you could come in like way in the back and clear out all of these people back here. The only problem with that one is there's always snipers up here on this hill, so it can be tricky. But my favorite way to attack this point is coming up here and coming straight down like this guy's doing right here, and then coming up um, this fenced area, and then you come in behind right here, and you're able to clear out everyone that's hiding behind this truck, everyone that's hiding right here, and it really helps your team advance the point way easier. I mean, with everything else, it's not always going to work the first time. You might die a couple times trying these flank paths, but you just have to keep at it. Because you never know, on the third or fourth time might be the time where you clear out 5 or 6 enemies and help your team capture the point. So here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I make it down this flank path, and then I have, a line of sight to the enemies, and they don't really realize that I'm there. So I'm able to clear out a lot of enemies and help my team capture the point. And these aren't hard kills. I'm shooting people in the back. I'm shooting people that don't even know that I'm there. This is the kind of stuff you'll see if you successfully flank in these maps. So the basis behind this point is just find out what those choke point areas are in the map. I mean, they're not very hard to figure out, and just avoid them. Just go down paths that there's going to be less enemies. Really, the only map that doesn't have a lane like this is Manhattan Bridge, the first sector. That one is pretty tough to get around if the enemy's playing, good defense on both sides. But other than that, there's always every map has a lane that you can go down. That there's only going to be 1 or 2 enemies that you have to get past to have pretty much unlimited access to their backline. So number 2 is going to be playing Assault and using the spawn beacon. In my opinion, the spawn beacon is the single strongest gadget you can use when you're attacking in Breakthrough. If you're able to successfully get behind the team, you could just place your spawn beacon, and not only do you have free access to the backline once you die, but so does your team also. Even if you're fighting, they can spawn on that spawn beacon, and it's definitely one of the best ways to turn the tide in your favor when you are attacking. So unfortunately in this clip, I clipped it so it doesn't show me spawning on the spawn beacon that I have there. But I did, and then I was able to, pull this off and clear out the entire underneath of A for my team to capture the point. And even if I were to die here before clearing all these all these enemies, I could just spawn right there again and have a second go at it. So it's very, very strong. So lastly, number 3, we have do not stay in one spot. And what I mean by this is after you get a kill, so say you made it behind the enemy, and you get a couple, like 1 or 2 kills in one spot. You want to keep moving. You don't want to stay in the same spot because that enemy is going to come back. They're going to know you're there. They're going to kill you before you even realize that they're there. So you get 1 or 2 kills, you move to a new spot. You get 1 or 2 kills, move to a new spot. You always want to be moving. And when I say you always want to be moving, I'm not talking about, just running out in the open with your head cut off. I'm talking about, moving from cover to cover, strategically so that one, you're minimizing your exposure to newly spawned enemies. So you always kind of want to have an object between you and their headquarters or spawn. And also, you can move so that you can have a sight line on your previous spot, so that when the enemy you just killed comes back to that spot, you essentially get another free kill because you're already looking at that spot that they're running to. So here's a pretty good clip of me doing this. I do not stay in one spot for more than one kill. I am always constantly on the move. I don't really use cover as much in this clip because there really isn't that much cover. I'm just kind of, staying around this general area, going between the levels. But in none of these kills do any of the people even realize I'm there except for this guy, who I just run away from and take a different angle because it's not worth to re-peek him because he's probably going to kill me. So while this clip's playing out, I'm going to just mention some honorable mentions for my tips here. And the number one honorable mention is use a silencer. I mean, none of this stuff will ever work if you're not using a silencer. So I guess that should be the number one tip overall, is use a silencer. And then secondly, use your mini-map. I mean, I look at my mini-map almost every single second. It has so much information on it. It tells you where the enemies are. There's always enemies spotted, especially if you have a drone in the air on your team. I mean, that's invaluable information. That's why it looks like I know where enemies are before I could even see them, is because I know where they're at on the mini-map. So you need to be looking, you need to train yourself to look at the mini-map as much as possible. And so that's really the two honorable mentions. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you take these tips and you apply them yourself in your games, and I hope they help you out. Don't be discouraged if they don't work right away. I mean, some games I'll be, 3 and 5, but then I'll hit a good, a good flank, and I'll come out of the sector being 25 and 4. So you just got to keep at it. Don't get discouraged. It's a play style that not everyone wants to do because it's a lot of running, honestly, and that's why it works so well. Is because not a lot of people want to do it, and so these routes are open and no one's really watching them, and it helps you create plays for your team. So, like I said, if you enjoyed this video, please, please, please subscribe. Help me get to 1,000. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment, leave a like. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks.